طيب. بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه أما بعد. We're resuming from At-Tuhfah Al-Iraqiya, page 39. Page 39. In the beginning of the page يقول المصنف رحمه الله تعالى ولهذا كره للمرء أن يتعرض للبلاء بأن يوجب على نفسه ما لا يوجبه الشارع عليه بالعهد والنذر ونحو ذلك. It is disliked by the Sharia for someone to promise to do things when he might not be able to do it. And it is not permissible for someone to wish to go through difficulties, seeking higher reward, when he might not be able to face it. As in the end of the page 38, he gave us the example of the reason of revelation of the beginning of Surah As-Saff. Surah As-Saff. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the meaning of the ayah, O you who believe, why are you saying what you're not able to do? مَا لَا تَفْعَلُونَ. It is kabura maqtan. Al-maqt is kind of wrath from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, anger. That you say things that you're not gonna do, or you're not doing, because you promised to do it, then when you came the time to do it, you turn away. إن الله يحب الذين يقاتلون في سبيله صفا كأنهم بنيان مرصوص. The reason of the revelation, قال, that this ayah was revealed about the companions رضوان الله تعالى عليهم. Some of them, they said, قالوا لو علمنا أي الأعمال أحب إلى الله لعملناها. If we knew the dearest action to Allah, will have done it, will be hastened to do it. فأنزل الله سبحانه وتعالى آية الجهاد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the ayah of the obligation to fight. كتب عليكم القتال. قال وهو كره لكم, and you hated it, you disliked it. Because they're saying, we will, if we just know what Allah loves, we'll hasten to do it. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Allah loves for you to fight in His sake and to reestablish justice, they didn't like it. So this has helped the believer in his journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and seeking his purification. The purification comes with the understanding of the relation between the servant and Allah, and understanding how to behave and when to and how to do the actions. Everyone loves to do whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves, but he might fall into sin. You might cause for yourself not a sin, but you might lead yourself to, subhanallah, to the less barakah in your heart. So decrease your iman, things that cause the decrease of the iman if it's not a sin. Therefore, there is a behavior, there's a way of conduct. A way of conduct. قال فلذلك the Sharia disliked the oath and the nadr. The nadr is to promise to do things, or to ask, a kind of a position. All of that. Or, he will, for example, there's a plague in a place, he wants to go to help. All of that is not, actually for the plague. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned, he said, no, don't do it. If you hear a land has a plague, don't go to it. And if you are in a land that has a plague, don't leave it. And we mentioned the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ قال لعبد الله بن سمرة لا تسأل الإمارة فإنك إن أعطيتها عن مسألة وكلت إليها وإن أعطيتها من غير مسألة أعنت عليها. Don't ask to be a leader or Amir, someone with high position to lead people. He said, because if he will be granted to you by your own request, قال وكلت إليها, you're going to be subjected to it. Then it's kind of task, you're going to have to do it on your own. Why? Because you asked for it. But if you will be granted to you without asking for it, Allah will help you to do it. The next hadith قال وثبت عنه في الصحيحين أنه قال في الطاعون. About the plague, I mentioned the hadith. Now the next hadith, and we mentioned last time, وثبت عنه في الصحيحين أنه قال لا تتمنوا لقاء العدو واسألوا الله العافية. Look, the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ said, do not wish to meet your enemy, to face your enemy. Do not wish to be at war with your enemy. You see how the Prophet ﷺ teaching us? Because people, they say, oh, if there's enemy, we'll go and we'll fight and we'll show to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are brave. No. Because if such thing happen, these people who have been like, saying such a thing, they will be the first people to run away. So this, if they have broken their promise with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and committed the major sin. So the Prophet ﷺ said, in some, do not wish for any type of difficulty that you'll be in. Anything, do not wish it. Do not wish death. Do not wish to meet enemy. Do not wish war. Nothing of this. قال واسألوا الله العافية. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the ease situation. ولكن but إذا لقيتموهم, but in case that you've been in a situation that you're facing an enemy. So you didn't wish for it, but this circumstances happen for this person to be facing the enemy. The Prophet ﷺ, then at that time, be patient. And put all your effort and know that the paradise is under the shade of the swords. Which is mean under someone he's seeing death. This is قال وأمثال ذلك مما يقتضي أن الإنسان لا ينبغي له أن يسعى فيما يوجب عليه أشياء ويحرم عليه أشياء. So this is a command in the teaching of the Prophet ﷺ that a person, one of us, should not try to longing or to wish for things or make on himself obligatory things or make haram things on himself, then he will not be able to fulfill the promise. فَيَبْخَلُوا بِالْوَفَاءِ. He said, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me, that much money, I will give 10% from it. Allah grant him this money. He look at the 10% is too much. He forget that he didn't have any penny. Say, Wallah, if Allah give me $1 million, I give 10%. 10% is 100? Huh? 100,000? 100,000? So when he calculate, he forget about the million. He will look like 100,000. It's too much. Maybe I'll pay them over 30 years. So he's like guarantee himself that he's gonna live 30 years. Huh? With interest. So the thing is, someone should not promise. And then subhanAllah, they try to find a fatwa to get out of it. If Allah cure me, I'm going to do this. But as soon as he get cured, he forget that he was healed first. Because as soon as they get the ni'mah, they forget they were longing for the ni'mah. Then when they remember that they have a promise with Allah, it becomes like a burden on them. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, then avoid from the beginning to make yourself being in such a situation. Don't. وَيُحَرِّمْ عَلَيَّ أَشْيَاءَ. Some people, they say, it's haram for me, I make that place to go haram. I will not go, it's haram. Or to eat certain food is haram. I made it haram on myself. And sometimes people, they cannot fulfill their promise. كما يفعل كثير مما يعاهد الله عهودا على أمور وغالب هؤلاء يبتلون بنقض العهود. Like many people, they make an oath with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the majority of these people, they will be tested and they fail in the test by breaking their oath with Allah. Now, another aspect after the tawakkul, and the aspect of the tawakkul, the etiquette of the tawakkul, the good conduct in the tawakkul, when to do the tawakkul, when to say hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel, and how to, when you trust in Allah and rely in Allah, don't, wish for yourself something bad, so you're gonna try, you rely on Allah. No. Don't wish for you anything. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the easy situation. When you're going to meet a difficulty, then you say, put all your effort, put your reliance on Allah, and then when you'll be incapable, come to the end of your effort, you say, hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel, and have, the patience. The patience comes, that's what he's going to talk about now. قال ويقتضي, so from the aspect of the purification of the soul, after the tawakkul is the patience. قال ويقتضي أن الإنسان إذا ابتلي فعليه أن يصبر ويثبت. When someone has been inflicted by a trial, he has to have patience and to be firm and steady. ولا ينكل حتى يكون من الرجال المقنين القائمين بالواجبات ولا بد في جميع ذلك من الصبر. ولهذا كان in any way and in all the circumstances, someone, he has to have the sabr and to hold firm till he will have that certainty. ولا بد في جميع ذلك من الصبر ولهذا كان الصبر واجبا باتفاق المسلمين. So the sabr is not optional. The sabr is a necessity, is an obligation. The sabr, look, there's different types of sabr. There's different types of patience. The first patience that he's talking about here, the author, is the sabr to fulfill the commands of Allah. That's the most important sabr. Because this sabr will help you to be with Allah. Because the connection between the servant and Allah is Allah continue to help you and to be with you as long as you are with Allah. How can you be with Allah if you fulfill the obligatory action that Allah commanded you? واضح. أحب ما تقرب إلي عبدي به ما افترضته عليه. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the most dear to Allah for His servant to draw himself near to Him with which that Allah made obligatory on him. Don't make qarabeen and make things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first thing He told you, salah. So be steadfast and work on your khushu' in the salah. That's how Allah wants you to come. That's how you can get the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, to fulfill the command of Allah, what weapon do you need? Patience. So the most important patience is the patience to fulfill the command of Allah. Patience to help yourself waking up every morning before Fajr to pray Fajr on time. It requires patience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, قال وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاصْطَبِرْ عَلَيْهِ. Al-istibaru more than higher than al-sabr. Istibar higher than patience. Istibar is like to make an effort to help yourself be patient and continuously patient. So an action to have that patience be part of your life. You're going to pray. You say, Allahu Akbar. You have a million things in your mind you need to do. Suddenly they all come to, subhanallah, jump into your mind. You have everything to do. You forget to pay the bill, you forget to call so-and-so, you forget to check that important message, you forget, the thing is calling you from the back, the kids are crying, the other one, he has another thing, the business, the other one, the phone. Everything comes at the time when someone is going to say, Allahu Akbar. What do you need? The only thing you need at the time, sabr. He said, everything can wait now. I'm going to meet Allah. Patience. So the patience is to hold yourself firm on the action that you are committed to, which is help you to have the khushu'. So the key of the khushu' in the salah is patience. Ramadan, the first day, patience. Taraweeh, you enjoy it when you have patience. Remembrance and finishing the Quran, you can do it when you have patience. And halum al-majar, come to all the examples. Allahumma aj'alna min as-sabirin. قال, for this type of patience is wajib, is an obligation. ما لا يتم الواجب به فهو واجب. Any obligatory action, to be fulfilled, require a certain action. Those action becomes obligatory, because without those action you cannot fulfill the obligatory action. Someone say, you have to go to that place to pray, and you are here. Walk into that place to pray, it becomes obligatory. The walk into that place becomes obligatory. That's what we say, because the mean that take you to the obligatory action becomes an obligation. Therefore, here, what help you to fulfill the command of Allah, patience, then patience becomes an obligation here. كما قال هنا ولهذا كان الصبر واجبا باتفاق المسلمين على أداء الواجبات. For this, the patience is an obligation with a full consensus and unanimous between all the Muslims to fulfill the wajibat, the obligatory question. وترك المحظورات. The second, ترك المحظورات, because ترك المحظورات, turning away and desist from doing haram, it requires big patience. Temptation requires patience. It requires patience. The other one, you hold yourself firm to commit to the action. For the mahdurat, you hold yourself away to not fall into the sin. Patience. So those are wajibat. ويدخل في ذلك الصبر على المصائب عن أن يجزع فيها. Now, the other type of sabr is the sabr in time of difficulties. And the majority of the people, they only think of patience, this patience. They don't even think of any other type of patience, when the true patience is in fulfilling the command of Allah and be away from the prohibited things made by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other type of patience, which is the patience on difficulties, when someone inflicted by a big trial, he needs patience. The other patience is to be patient to not follow the whims of the self, leading to the haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned patience in His book more than 90 times. More than 90 times. And often the patience is associated with the salah, joined with the salah, combined with the prayer. واستعينوا بالصبر والصلاة وإنها لكبيرة إلا على الخاشعين. واستعينوا بالصبر. Help yourself with patience and prayer. Patience key to the prayer, and the prayer nourishes the patience. I mean, key to help someone has salah to be beneficial to him. Again, in Surah Al-Baqarah, استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. Help yourself with patience and prayer, and Allah is with those who prove patience. وأقم الصلاة طرفي النهار وزلفا من الليل إن الحسنات يذهبن السيئات ذلك ذكرى للذاكرين واصبر فإن الله لا يضيع أجر المحسنين. Establish a prayer in the end of from both sides of the days. Indeed, the hasanat erase the sayyi'at, the bad deeds. This is a reminder for those who remember and have patience. Allah does not neglect or ignore the action or the reward of the good doers. فاصبر على ما يقولون وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل الغروب. Have patience on what they saying, and glorify and celebrate the praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the sunrise and after the sunset. Then فاصبر إن وعد الله حق واستغفر لذنبك وسبح بحمد ربك بالعشي والإبكار. Have patience. The promise of Allah is the promise of the truth, and ask for yourself forgiveness and celebrate the hamd and the praises of Allah. All of it sabr plus prayer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He made the leader al-imamah, to be imam in the way of Allah, in the deen, an inheritance or a consequence, a result of patience and yaqeen. Allah said in Surah As-Sajdah, وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا وَكَانُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يُوقِنُونَ. And we made among them A'imma, imams, leaders, guiding with our way, by our order and command, when they have proven, and we have proven patience. لَمَّا صَبَرُوا, when they were patient, and they had yaqeen, full certainty in our ayat. Then he given us a very nice conclusion here, or like observation. He said, فَإِنَّ الدِّينَ كُلُّهُ عِلْمٌ بِالْحَقِّ وَعَمَلٌ بِهِ. What is the deen? What is the deen? It's the knowledge of the truth and acting upon it. It's a beautiful definition of the deen. The deen is the truth from Allah. Then the belief, which is the deen, is the knowledge of the truth, وَعَمَلٌ بِهِ, and acting upon it. And acting upon the knowledge of the truth necessitate the patience. بل وطلب علمه يحتاج إلى الصبر. Actually, acquiring the knowledge of this deen require patience. And I think you, mashallah, you experience this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your effort, all of you. Because, taking time from your busy week and doing this for the knowledge and seeking the pleasure of Allah, inshallah, for these long hours requires sabr. Because without sabr, nobody can do it. قال بل وطلب علمه يحتاج إلى الصبر. Beautiful saying of Mu'adh ibn Jabal. Beautiful saying of Mu'adh ibn Jabal. قال معاذ ابن جبل رضي الله عنه عليكم بالعلم فإن طلبه لله عبادة. عليكم بالعلم. عليكم بالعلم is like engage yourself in acquiring knowledge. عليك is like I give you my advice to engage yourself the maximum you can in getting knowledge. And he's gonna tell you why. فَإِنَّ طَلَبَهُ لِلَّهِ عِبَادَةً. Inquiring the knowledge for the sake of Allah is worship. وَمَعْرِفَتُهُ خَشْيَةً. And knowing the knowledge is fear of Allah. خشية. وَالْبَحْثُ عَنْهُ جِهَادٌ. And searching the knowledge is jihad, struggle. وَتَعْلِيمُهُ لِمَنْ لَا يَعْلَمُهُ صَدَقَةٌ. And teaching it to the one who does not know is a sadaqah. وَمُذَاكَرَتُهُ تَسْبِيحٌ. And reviewing, and mashallah you have an exam, so while you're reviewing you are in state of tasbih. You are a prayer. I don't think when you review your math or physics it's tasbih. But Allah reward you for your effort. But this is special. For the knowledge of the deen, tasbih. به يعرف الله ويعبد. With this knowledge you know Allah. And with this knowledge you worship Allah. وَبِهِ يُمَجَّدُ وَيُوَحَّدُ. With this knowledge you glorify Him. With this knowledge you celebrate His oneness subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَرْفَعُ اللَّهُ بِالْعِلْمِ أَقْوَامًا يَجْعَلُهُمْ لِلنَّاسِ قَادَةً وَأَئِمَّةً يَهْتَدُونَ بِهِمْ وَيَنْتَهُونَ إِلَى رَأْيِهِمْ. Allah lift with this knowledge people to make them leaders and imams. And imams, a kind of guide. People, they follow their footsteps, and they come to their verdict and their opinion. And this is the greatest kingdom. Kingdom, when we say kingdom of the heart, to do such a thing is abundance of barakah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abundance. All the major scholars from the Tabi'een, they were slaves. They were slaves, they turn to be the whole ummah sitting around them, learn from them. Muqatil or Mujahid, all the what you read from the Asami, the name of the Tabi'een in the book of Tafsir Ibn Kathir, all of them, they were Mawali. They learned from the companion, because the companion, they had them to teach them, not to have them like, serve them like, like what they do, people for slaves. Teach them. Abdullah ibn Umar, he had the servant. His task is to help him in Qiyamul Layl. To tell him, Ya Abdullah, innu waqtu sahar. So he tell him to tell him. And to have the Quran behind him, so if he make mistake, he correct him. What a beautiful task. Make the master make qiyam, have his servant to make qiyam with him. That's his task. So they learn. They become scholars. They become a'imma. Everybody is following them. That's قال يرفع الله بالعلم أقواما يجعلهم للناس قادة وأئمة يهتدون بهم وينتهون إلى غيرهم. قال فجعل البحث عن العلم من الجهاد. So he made looking for the knowledge, inquire knowledge, do research is from the jihad. And ولا بد في الجهاد من الصبر. And there's no way you can engage yourself in struggle and striving without patience. ولهذا قال تعالى والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. الحق is the deen, الصبر is the way to implement it. فالعلم النافع هو أصل الهدى والعمل بالحق هو الرشاد. The sound knowledge, the beneficial knowledge, which is the knowledge of the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the asl al-huda, the foundation of the guidance, the origin of the guidance, the core of the guidance. وَالْعَمَلُ بِالْحَقِّ هُوَ الرَّشَادِ. And the action upon the truth is al-rashad, is the guidance, is the righteousness. وضد الأول الضلال وضد الثاني الغي. The opposite of al-huda is الضلال, error. وضد الثاني الغي. ضد الرشاد الغي. الغي is like the wrong, the falsehood, the wrongdoing. فالضلال العمل بغير علم. So this is based on the definition that we have. So what is dalal, what is error, what is going astray, is to act without knowledge. والغي is اتباع الهوى, is to follow one's whims. قال تعالى والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى. He didn't went astray or غوى in a way like he's making a falsehood or being wrong or doing wrong. Therefore, the guidance only can be gained by knowledge. And al-rashadu, so here guidance is the path of the guidance. Wal-rashadu is to act with guidance. It's like, uprightness, al-rashad. To do things according to the way of Allah. The guidance is to have the orientation. You are on the path. But to walk the path, you need a rashad. So to have the orientation of the guidance, you need knowledge. To walk in the path by acting, you need sabr. قال فلا ينال الهدى إلا بالعلم ولا ينال الرشاد إلا بالصبر. ولهذا قال علي رضي الله عنه. And for this, Ali رضي الله تعالى عنه said, ألا إن الصبر من الإيمان بمنزلة الرأس من الجسد. He said the parable of patience related to the iman. You know, the relation between patience, sabr, and iman, faith. He said, like, you see the head and the body. بمنزلة الرأس. So the position, the role, and the importance of sabr in iman is like the importance and the role that you see for the head related to the body. فإذا انقطع الرأس بان الجسد. If you take off the head, that's it. The body is gone. Separate. Then he increased his voice. And he say it louder. قال ألا لا إيمان لمن لا صبر له. He said, no, there's no iman. No iman for the one who do not have, or for the one who does not have patience. ألا لا إيمان لمن لا صبر له. واضح. Any question? طيب. Now, we have the sabr, as we said, for the wajibat and for al-manhiyat. Then the sabr ala al-bala, and then we understood that the sabr is part embedded in the iman. Actually, it is like the head compared to the whole body. And without sabr, there's no iman. Now, the sabr are levels. There is sabr, Yaqub alayhi salam called it sabrun jamil. Beautiful sabr, if you can translate sabrun jamil. There is sabr with sabr. With the sabr comes from a plant, sabr, which is very bitter. So patience is really have pain. So can we say the sabr is like you have to feel comfortable? Or the sabr comes with tears, comes with pain, comes with, with a lot of, feel like, is with sorrow. Here comes another item to include into this, haykala structure. We call al-rida. Al-rida. Al-rida is someone being pleased with the destiny or the difficulty that he's been inflicted on him or not. Does the rida an obligation or not? Because then we're going to have detail into rida. Say, then what we have to define patience here. Because the rida, the amount of the rida or definition of rida will help us to define clearly the patience, especially in time of difficulties. Because the Prophet ﷺ, when he saw that woman kind of screaming and crying, and he told her, have patience. She told him, what do you know about patience? So she kind of, misbehaved with the Prophet, but she didn't know that he was the Prophet. So people afterward, they told her, they said, you know who that person? He said, no, that's the messenger of Allah. She went running and asking forgiveness. قال لا بأس. And then he taught us something. He teaching us. قال الصبر عند صدمة الأولى. Patience is a requirement at the first shock. So here in this hadith, what the Prophet ﷺ prohibited for us is al-jaza'u, complaining. Having sorrow is normal, you cannot even control it. Having tears is normal, you cannot even control them. Feeling pain is normal. Al-jaza'u, which is haram. So what contradicts? As-sabr is al-jaza'. To complain and scream and say, and subhanallah, people, they will be questioning Allah, why did you do this for me? I'm being doing this, wal-'iyadhu billah. There's people, not only they in other faith, which like we're talking about the previous faith, the people of the book. There's people, subhanallah, who change the whole, let's say, the thinking of their centuries because of things happen to them like this. Now there's other examples. For example, someone who has his father serving, like giving services and sermons in the church, I think. So the father died with illness. So the child, he said, my father, all his life he's serving God, and God punished him with sickness, and he died. And then he built the whole philosophy to, subhanallah, to change the whole system of morality, negating even, what is moral. And unfortunately, his philosophy was heard and adopted till now. And most of the atheists, this is one of their leaders. It happens, subhanallah, because this child didn't learn meanings of sabr and rida. See how important this part of worship in our life. And they are very neglected among, in our studies or in our, conversation, and even our, the upbringing of our children is not there. We say have patience, but we don't, kind of elaborate on meaning to have patience. Have rida, we don't elaborate on the meaning of have rida, because most of the people, they do not know Allah. قال وأما الرضا فقد تنازع العلماء والمشايخ من أصحاب الإمام أحمد وغيرهم في الرضاء بالقضاء. There were a dispute among the scholars within the school of thought of Imam Ahmad and others in the meaning of be pleased with to accept, the destiny. الرضا بالقضاء, you accept it. هل هو واجب أو مستحب? It is an obligation or recommended. فعلى قولين, they said there's two opinions. So here, الرضا we are considering is higher level of sabr. So if we say the sabr is to not have jaza, to not complain, but to have pain and sorrow and tears, that's normal. The other level is to be pleased with the qada, which is mean that pleased that there is no pain. That's the rida. So he's saying, therefore, here we can say the sabr is from the muqtasid and the rida for al-muqarrabin. The foremost, those who are well connected and close to Allah, they will have rida. If he has rida, so he's from the muqarrabin. If someone patient, but he's still fighting, to accept it within himself, but alhamdulillah have sabr, that's from al-muqtasid. يقول عمر ابن عبد العزيز: الرضا عزيز ولكن الصبر معول المؤمن. الصبر عزيز. عزيز is mean like it's hard to get. الرضا عزيز is hard to get. But the sabr is like the معول, things that you dig with it. Someone helping himself with it. That's what he needs. It's his tool to be firm. وقد روي عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال لابن عباس: إن استطعت أن تعمل لله بالرضا مع اليقين فافعل، فإن لم تستطع فإن في الصبر على ما تكره خيرا كثيرا. Also has been narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said to Ibn Abbas, if you can to act to Allah with rida, with the full acceptance and pleasure, with certainty, then do so. But if you cannot be able to do it, then know that in patience on what you dislike, there's great good. That's why in the Quran, Allah complimented those who are pleased with the destiny, but not in the way of obligation. So the rida is that higher level, if someone can work for it. Let's say the level of the ihsan. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قال وهذا في الرضا بما يفعله الرب بعبده من الصالح. Like المرض والفقر والزلزال, sickness, poverty, and الزلازل, like earthquakes. And zilzal also can be like a difficulty that shakes the deep of the self. كما قال تعالى: والصابرين في البأساء والضراء وحين البأس. أن الله سبحانه وتعالى قال: أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم. Do you think, or are you counting on getting to paradise until the example of the people before you comes to you? So you listen what they have been enduring, then you understand what the meaning to be admitted in Jannah. And the other ayah, قال ما حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يعلم, till Allah will test you to see if you really are from among those who prove patient and those who are, make the struggle. قال مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا. They've been touched by بأساء, ضراء, وزلزلة. البأساء is poverty. So البأساء touch wealth. الضراء difficulty touch bodies, sickness and things. as Ayub alayhi salam, قال أني مسني الضر. الضر comes to the bodies. والزلزال, the shaking, the quake, this is shaking. So this is zalazil. We have a zalzalu on the earth. That's the earthquake. In the self is the heart. So بأساء ضراء وزلزل. Al-ba'sa in the money, in the property, in the belonging. Al-dharra'u, harm comes to the bodies, health. And zulzilu shakes the heart. Zilzila is like difficulties that make people to be confused, doubtful, that require yaqeen and sabr. What about الرضا بما أمر الله به? To be pleased and accepting what Allah had made obligatory on us. That is indeed wajib. Wajib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tell you pray 5 times a day. It is wajib to be pleased with it, to be accepting it. We'll go further to get into details of this part of the rida, insha'Allah ta'ala, next week, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Next week, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. If you have any question, insha'Allah, before to end the class. No, the sabr has different levels. The sabr, the levels based on someone's, I will not say the complaint is haram. Complaint, jaza, which is, get to the kufr. But the sabr depends on how someone deals with the situation at the first shock. So there are going to be levels, infinite levels.
You mentioned 4 different kinds of sabr. One is doing the commands of Allah, staying away from the haramat, and demonstrations of difficult situations, and the fourth was
the اتباع الهوى.
Are those all in
Those are to be regarded in their field, because the first 2 sabr are obligatory. So those are an obligation for someone to fulfill his, and that sabr, the level of the sabr, result on it, the quality of the worship. The better sabr in salah, more khushu', greater quality in salah. Less sabr in salah, less khushu', less quality, then less reward. More sabr for the haram means farther from the haram, being rewarded for that. Less sabr, closer to haram, more temptation, very shaky to fall into the haram. That's wajibat. For the difficulty ones, that the infinite level depends at the first shock how he going to be. That goes from have, accepted with difficulties, less difficulties, to the point that he's accepted peacefully. That's the rida. And ittiba' al-hawa is like the hawa, because the whims will guide, you don't know, for the haram, for things, but the hawa is like the essence of everything that's going to mislead the person. So that requires a lot of sabr. So that's mujahadatun nafs. That is all the time. جزاكم الله خيرا وبارك الله فيكم.